What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Virzi Effect podcast show. My name is Paul Virzi. You guys listened to episode 529, and I am flying solo, guys. Flying solo again. Want to thank my last guest, Brett Ernst, who everybody loved when he went on his history rant saying shit. I don't know if it's true. Let's be honest. Most of you don't know if it's true, but it was good to talk all that shit and talk about what Italians would do. Apparently you guys loved it. And let's be honest, anytime Italians get involved talking about anything, no matter what it is, whether it's politics, whether it's food, whether it's sports, it's just always more entertaining when Italians do it. Now, I'm not saying that being biased. I'm half Sicilian, but I also am half Greek. But let's be honest. As you guys can tell, I don't know if you can tell, but I am looking a little slimmer, guys. And that's for good reason, because I am working pretty hard. I'm working hard at this, and look at the camera angle, everything. But yes, I am cutting out a lot of stuff. I'm doing my workout, and the body is definitely getting back to where that I want it to be. I didn't realize that I was slowly turning into a fat piece of shit until you go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Oh, you're slowly becoming a fat piece of shit." So luckily, I have the genes and the genetics, like my brother, like my father, where I can be fat or skinny in 2 weeks. If I eat pizza for 2 days in a row, I fucking blow out like a balloon. And if I eat salads and fish for a couple of days, people are like, "Oh my God, like, what are you, running a marathon?" I'm blessed with that, but that's also very dangerous, especially the older you get, because I can eat less bad shit. But I'm starting to figure this thing out. Got a great show for you guys today. I want to talk about some things that are going on in entertainment. I want to talk about some shows that I've watched. And I'm just flying solo on this until we get everything taken care of with the studio. I want to thank everybody who has been, tuning in to the Virzi Effect and subscribing. We just reached 5,000 or so more, 5,000 YouTube subscribers since we started in basically the beginning of the pandemic. Well, it took a few months to get it going. So like a year and a half or whatever, putting this show in front of you guys visually instead of just audio. So thank all the people who subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank all the Virzi Effect listeners, new and old. You guys know who you are. Please tell a friend. Thank you. And please write a comment, rate and review. That helps the show move up and move up and move up. And so I appreciate everybody who's done that. Obviously, check out and subscribe to the Anything Better podcast I co-host with Bill Burr. Go to that YouTube channel, subscribe to that. Subscribe to the Paul Virzi YouTube channel. It's got stand-up and all that stuff going on. And some cool announcements coming up, but I'm not saying anything because when I tell you things are moving, it's crazy. I feel completely blessed. I feel completely humbled about what's going on. And it's amazing to have the opportunities that I have, and I'm grateful. So when all of those things settle, I will tell you about that. Because when I think something's happening, I like to tell my listeners and tell my fans that's happening. And then all of a sudden it changes for a good reason, but then it makes me look like an asshole. So I'm just going to shut up. I'm going to shut up and see what happens. All right. I want to thank everybody who came out to Austin, Texas. Okay. I was at the Vulcan Gas Company last Friday, 2 shows, and Saturday, 2 shows. The first time I did the Vulcan, I only did 2 shows. This time I did 4. And thank you guys so much. I love how I did this and then this to let you guys know that 2 + 2 = 4. Thank you all in Texas. I give a lot of shit to Austin. I talk a lot of shit about Austin. Downtown Austin, not great. But I will tell you this. The comedy community there is incredible. The fans that come out are incredible. I had people that drove out, and thank you guys so much for the people that drove. I had a family drive from Maryland from Maryland to see me. Okay, Maryland to Texas. I also had people in San Antonio, which even though it's like a 2-hour drive, maybe a little less, still the fact that you guys got in your cars, people telling me they're driving to come and see me means so much to me. I cannot thank you guys enough. So thank you so much who came out to Texas. I will be back there. I want to keep growing my audience in Austin. And I won't be back, obviously, until after the special comes, but I will be back. I will be back in Austin. And obviously other places we're adding. All right, guys, let's get into some things that I saw as far as unacceptables this week. I have one. Here's my unacceptable. I'll get into it now. It did happen in Austin. And then after that, I'll move on to some of the things that I'm watching, a specific show that I'm watching, which I really, really enjoy. So here is my unacceptable for the week. Actually, there can be two, but we'll see. So I fly to Austin, and I'm the type of guy that I like to fly day of show if I'm not doing press. If I'm not doing any press, if I'm not doing radio in the morning, obviously if I'm doing radio in the morning, I got to be there the night before. You go to the radio station early in the morning, you plug the show, right? If I'm not doing that, I fly in a couple hours before my show. It's just how I like to do it. I get on a plane in the afternoon. I land in the evening. I fucking go to my hotel. I get dressed. I'm already showered usually, or I'll take a shower in the hotel. And then I run out to my show and I do my shows, and that's it. So that's the case. Last Friday, get off the airplane, go to the hotel, same hotel that I always go to when I'm in Austin. Okay. It's downtown Austin. And obviously the comedy venue puts me up in the hotel. And that goes with the story. You'll see why. So I go to the fucking hotel tired. I've been on an airplane. It's a couple hours before the show. I have not really eaten. I don't really eat at the airport. I had something before the airplane. So my plan is go settle in the airport for 2 hours, grab something to eat and go to the club. I get to the, go to the hotel, settle in for a couple hours, and then go to the comedy club. I get to my hotel, mind you, the same hotel that I've been multiple times. And I check in, they give me the room, and I say, is the restaurant here in the hotel open? Lady goes, no, I'm sorry, it's not. But we have a little market right there where you could grab snacks, right next to the hotel booth, right next to the register. You could go in and you can grab a fucking Slim Jim and a water and some chips or whatever. Now I'm starving, so I need to get something. So she gives me my room number. She says, elevators are over there. I go, okay, I'm just going to go grab a snack at the market. I go into this little thing, which is right next to where they work, right next to where they give you your cards for the room. Okay. Not a separate store. It's a little thing there. Okay. And so I hear somebody go, hey, can I get a toothbrush? So I see the guy. I see another guy working behind the counter, and he hands a toothbrush, and I think it's underneath. So I go, can I grab one too? Like, cause they'll give you like a little dental kit with toothpaste and everything like that. It's always cool to get a fresh toothbrush. So he goes, yeah. And I could tell he's annoyed because he had to walk in the back, and he hands it to me. Great. Thank you. So I go into the marketplace, and which is right next door where they are, stand like literally 5 feet away. And I'm starving. So what do I grab? I grab a water. I'm probably going to tell this on other fucking shows, just so you guys know. Okay. But I'll tell you guys first. Shit, it got blurry because I'm moving so much. That's what happens. All right. So the camera's like, he's freaking out, and I'm freaking the camera out. So I grab a Cliff Bar. I grab a Slim Jim, and I grab like one of those long, dry, flat, like beef jerkies, like not a Slim Jim. It's like a better quality, like beef jerky. Cause I needed something. I needed some sort of protein, something. So like, I'll get a Cliff Bar, I'll get a piece of fucking beef jerky, and I'll get a water. So I grab 3 little items, and they're all there, and they see me, and the woman sees me. And I just lean over to the guy that gave me the toothbrush, and I go, hey man, can you just put this on room 450, whatever room I was in? And he goes, I'm sorry, sir, there's a big line. You're going to have to And I literally, all he really needed to do was just lean down. It would have taken him literally, I've seen this happen a million times. If you've been to hotels, you know, it would have taken him literally 20 seconds or less to just go, okay, have a good, enjoy your stay. And this fucking guy knows I just checked in, which lets you know people are coming from the airport, people are tired, and I'm your guest in your hotel. Instead, he goes, there's a big line. So in other words, I grab these 2 things and now I got to wait on this long line, which is a shitty thing to do. But then I go, oh, whatever. I'll just take it to my room and call it down. They see what I have. So I start walking and I look at the lady and I kind of like almost mouth like, oh, I'll call this down or I'll walk. And I have the shit in my hands and my card and I start walking to the elevator. My plan was I'm going to go to the elevator. I'm going to go upstairs. And then I'm just going to call down and say, hey, I'm in room 450, whatever the room number was. I'm in 4, whatever. I got a Cliff Bar of water and a thing. There was a huge line. I'm sorry, but I got a show. And as I'm walking to the elevator, I hear, sir. And I'm ignoring it because I don't think it's me. And then he goes, sir. And I turn and I look and he goes, you can't just take from the thing and leave and not pay. And I go, oh no, I was like, I was going to call it down. And he goes, no, you can't just do it like that, sir. And he starts shaking his head. He goes, you got to treat it like, I go, you think I'm like, what? I'm not, I was going to call it down. He goes, you got to treat it like a store. Would you do that at a store? And I'm like, so now he's making a scene in front of other guests. Like I'm trying to fucking steal a Cliff Bar, a fucking piece of beef jerky and a water. So I walk all the way back. Guests are looking at me. I'm fucking pissed because A, I'm hungry, and B, the way he went about this was completely ridiculous. So I go, I put everything back. I walk back to my room and I'm fuming. I'm fucking fuming, dude. Okay. Hungry. Can't even eat a snack. Okay. And I'm in the fucking room and I'm going, does this guy think I'm literally like talking to myself like a crazy person. Does this guy think that I'm going to steal a Cliff Bar, a piece of beef jerky and a bottle of water? Does he think that I'm going to do that? Okay. The comedy club is putting me up here. I always come here. Okay. Do you think I'm going to fucking do that? So I'm really pissed, but I settle in. Which didn't help was I start talking to my wife, and my wife was dealing with shit at work. And she goes, well, is it like a store? And I'm just like, and I was just like, we just got off the phone. It was hilarious. So I got to get ready for the show. I'm like, all right, I'm going to leave early. I'm just going to go grab something at a restaurant on my way. I'm going to pop into a restaurant on my way to my shows, get either a burger, a salad or something, and then go to the show. So I'm like, but I'm stopping at the desk before I go. So I was like, I have to say my piece. So I go in the elevator, I walk down, I wait for no guests because I'm a classy fucking gentleman. Okay. I wait for no guests. I don't want to cause a scene, but there's a woman there and I see the guy in the back. And I said to the woman, oh, I go, yeah, there's like a gross stain. There was too. There was like this circular stain in the bathtub, like shower bathtub, which I didn't use. I didn't use once because I took a shower hours before I got there. And then I left the next day. So like, I'm not showering. First of all, I wouldn't have showered there because of the stain, but there was like this circular stain. So I said, I'm going to go down. I'm not going to make a big deal. I'm going to say, can somebody go up to my room and clean out the fucking bathtub? Cause I don't want to see that shit when I'm taking a piss. I could have left. That's really what I could have done, but I didn't. And she goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We'll go up and clean that up. I go, thank you. And I go, and can I talk to him for a second? I'd like to talk to him. And he comes out and I go, are you a manager? And he goes, yeah. I go, I'm just curious, like, you know, like before, like that whole thing that happened, like, I just want to let you know, like, do you think I wasn't going to steal? You think I was going to steal a Cliff Bar and all that? And he's looking and he's kind of tilting his head. I go, no, I go, because I took a Cliff Bar, a piece of beef jerky and a water. And I said, and I walked it past you guys saying like, I'll call it down. Like, and I walked past and I saw the woman see me with the snacks. Okay. And I'm walking it past you guys, literally in plain sight. So if I'm going to steal something, wouldn't I conceal it? And I'm just hitting this guy like a lawyer. I'm like, if I'm going to steal something, wouldn't I conceal it? Like I had just checked in. And then I kept going. Then I go, sir, I'm a comedian here. And every time I'm here, I stay here. And the comedy venue pays for me to stay here. So number one, I would never fucking do that anyway, because that's not the person I am, because I don't steal like that. Number two, if I would do that, that would be on the comedy club and me. And number three, if I was going to steal like that, I wouldn't do it in plain sight past you guys holding it there. I would have concealed it. Okay. I was walking saying, I'll just call it in. And then he starts, and then the woman that checked me in goes behind him and hears me talking. And she looks at me and she goes, fine. You see, she knew. She goes, you know, like when women do that, like, you're fine, don't worry. She looked at him as like, this guy's being a dick. This guy shouldn't have done that to you. You're a guest in our hotel. Okay. So you're assuming that I'm going to steal fucking petty things like that when you clearly saw me walk. And she saw me walking, which means if I didn't come down and pay, they could have called and said, sir, we saw you leave with some snacks. Can you want to take care of that now? Okay. And then he says this to me, and this is when I knew I was right. And this is when I knew I fucking won. If I was a lawyer in court, this is when I knew that I fucking won. All right. Is when he goes, oh, sir, if you would have said you were calling it down, then I wouldn't have tracked you. I go, yeah. I go, like, you tracked me down to the elevators in front of guests like I was some, you know, and he goes, if you would have said you were calling it down. And I was like, well, I was kind of trying to. I was kind of saying, like, as I got to the elevator, I'll call it down, and you fucking made a big stink about it. And when that happened, I knew that I won. Fuck him. And then that was the end of that. Absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable for a hotel who just checked a guest in who was asking if a restaurant is open because they were hungry. That same hotel sees that I'm a performer in town, and the biggest comedy venue in fucking town is putting me up. The biggest, the venue, as far as like not a non-big theater, okay, as far as like a non-performance arts theater, comedy club and venue wise, it's one of the biggest. The Vulcan is the spot. Okay. That's where all these people go. That's where the Joe Rogan and friends go. And all the big comedians that come into town, they play there, and they put the comedian in the hotel. Okay. So seeing that and knowing that your guest that is performing there just came in hungry and grabbed snacks and checked in and didn't want to wait on a huge long line. So I was going to do it the other way. It's unacceptable. And he knows it was fucked up. And I think I could be wrong, but I'm not, because I'm fucking Sicilian and my mind is like that. My mind is a steel fucking trap sometimes. I think because I heard somebody say, can I get a toothbrush? And he gave it to them. And then I just leaned over and I go, hey man, you mind? Can I get one of those too? And he goes, sure. And the way he said sure and had to walk in the back to grab one real quick bugged him. And I think he was in a mood. And I think that's why he fucking did what he did. But you know what? I came down and I fucking showed in front of his fucking employees. I did that. So good. So unacceptable, motherfucker. Unacceptable. Okay. Listen, I'm not going to steal beef jerky and if I'm going to steal something, I put a gun to someone's face and try to get fucking 500 grand from a bank, if that was even possible. And I would never do that. But like, if I'm going to steal, it's not going to be a water, a Cliff Bar, and a fucking piece of beef jerky. I'm not going to risk my career and risk performing places. Because, yeah, did you hear what happened to Paul Virzi? He got sent home. Why? He was stealing a fucking $1 beef jerky and a Aquafina water with a Cliff Bar. Come on, man. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But I knew I got him and I knew I won. The other unacceptable was, I can't really call this an unacceptable because the guy was cool. I was on an airplane going back home, and I was able to get like a great seat on the way there, like first class, maybe. Was it first class or very up front? Great, like row 4, more leg room, the whole thing on the way there. On the way back, for some reason, things got mixed up and I'm in a middle seat in the back main cabin, which I fucking hate, on a packed American Airlines flight. And luckily these two guys walk in and the guy goes, hey man, if you want to get the window so me and him could sit next to each other. And I'm like, great. So I was happy about that. And then the dude starts falling asleep, knocking into me the whole time, knocking into me, his arm, taking my fucking armrest, because the armrest is yours on the right Everybody's armrest is on the right. His shit was on it. So I had to put my arm to the side. He kept sleeping. And I wanted to be like, but it was the price that I had to pay for getting the window. Never again. I will pay fucking big money. I just did to fucking fly. Not that way. I'm just not doing it. So I can't really say unacceptable because the guy hooked it up. Because if I was in the middle, I probably would have been I would start crying or just stand the whole flight. But so that's like on the cusp. But you can't lean over into somebody when you're sleeping, and you can't, a little passive aggressive. I took it that way. Maybe I'm nuts. All right, we're done. We're done with that. Let's get into what I wanted to talk about here. You guys are listening to 529, by the way. And I also want to thank everybody in Texas who said that they're listening to the Virzi Effect. They love it. It gets them through their day. They love listening to it wherever they are. They love listening to my stupid ass. I love you guys. And let's talk about the show Yellowstone. Now, at first, I wasn't going to watch it. Someone's like, dude, it's like The Sopranos in cowboy boots out in Montana. And that kind of made me go like, I don't know. I don't know if Sopranos should be put in that mix. But dude, I watched all 3 seasons of Yellowstone, and I got to tell you something. Of course, it's a little fantasy, crazy, drama, like a little much. Okay, it's a little much, but it is dope. There's something about it, man. There's something about it that makes you think of, I don't know, because there's like these things that I don't want to give much away, but there's these things that happen that kind of show you how life works in a way. Like if you do something bad shit's coming your way, even in another direction or another way. And it just shows that all of your actions will catch up with you. But it also shows love for family. It also shows doing bad things for family. It also shows doing bad things and cover up things for loyalty and love. It's, there's guns, there's violence, there's horses, there's fucking shootings. And I got to tell you, man, the last episode, the season finale of episode 3 was fucking hard, man. It reminded me of like the Godfather ending when it was like, so I'll tell you this. And the episodes are anywhere from like 37 minutes to like 50 something minutes. The first episode's an hour and a half. And then after that, but my buddy said, stick with it. That's what he said. He goes, stick with it because it takes a couple episodes. Because at first you're going to be like, all right, this show's good, but it's not. But then it was one of those things where you're like, all right, this show's not great. It's really good, not great. But then you're thinking about it. Like, I have to go home and watch 2 more episodes. I have to go home and watch. And I'm going, okay, they're getting me here. And everybody's backstory kind of does a flashback to why they're that way. So if somebody's evil and a piece of shit, there's one thing, and this doesn't give it away because you'll see it from the beginning. A brother and sister just have this, like the sister hates the brother. And you're like, nobody would ever talk to their sibling like that. This is completely fucked up. Like, you would never say that mean shit. You would never be over the top. You would never be that disrespectful and hateful to a sibling. And then it goes back to when they were younger and something happened and you see why she's that way. That's kind of what happens. So all the characters you see at first, then you see why. Dope show, really good show. Kevin Costner is the dad, but it's all the pieces around him that make this show incredible. No, I'm not getting a part in it. No, I don't work for it. No, there's no Yellowstone sponsorship. I just think it's something that if you want, I'm doing you a favor, and I'm almost envious of people that didn't see it, because I wish I didn't see it, because I wish I had more to watch. And the ending was unbelievable, man. Truly, like, you're just going like, oh, dude, he's dead. Oh, she's dead. And then you're watching and you're waiting. It really did have that, like, at the end of The Sopranos, when you would watch something and you'd be like, oh, they're going to pay for that. And that's what kind of happens in this. So obviously different. I'm not going to say it's The Sopranos at all. I'm not going to put it in that category. It's completely different, but it's really, really good. And I think that it really makes you think about things that you wouldn't have even intended of thinking about. No show has made me, it's been a long time since a show made me think about shit in my life like this. And And then this is the other thing I wanted to talk about on the show today. Okay. And I'm not that, as you could tell, I'm not that fired up today. Today, I'm in a mellow mood. Today, I'm relaxed. So not, the whole shit with the, I will say this though, the one thing that I am a little fired up about is I performed last night in New York City. I did 3 shows, and I've come to realize that New York City comedy has changed forever. As much as, not like I said, 80%, 90% of it is great. I was making fun of Joe Biden on stage last night, calling the fucking Ukrainian people Iranian. Did you hear that? The president of our country. And I do this as a comedian because when I made fun of Donald Trump, some people would get mad when they liked him, but they'd get over it. But now, like, you make fun of Joe Biden, and it's like, I said to Chris, like, not my fault you fucking voted for him. It's not my fault you voted for a guy that just clearly is his age and his mind. I have friends that are super liberal going, dude, what's he doing, man? This guy is just, I mean, he literally stood there while Ukrainian people are dying, while people in the Ukraine are fighting for their life and fighting for their country and doing all this shit against Vladimir Putin, the president of the United States. Granted, people are allowed mistakes. But dude, the guy came out and he goes, no matter what Vladimir Putin does, he'll never take the heart and the spirit away from the Iranian people. What? Now, if I was a comedian in New York and I made fun of George Bush doing that shit, it's laughing and yay. But because it's liberal New York and you're making fun of somebody that they probably voted for, they have to fucking live with the fact that they voted for somebody because they couldn't fucking believe that they voted for somebody with dementia. I mean, this man has dementia. People are like, come on, Paul, he's got a speech impediment. No, he doesn't. Fucking speech impediment. A speech impediment doesn't make you call the Ukraine Iran. Fuck you. All right. If you're that stupid or you're that much in denial, all right. And I know some people listening to this, you probably voted for Joe Biden, and it's fine. It's fine. But let's not act like it's not fucked up. The same way if somebody voted for Donald Trump and he does something fucked up, you got to own that shit too. You can't just take everything, This is not like looking past shit like it's a child. It's not a child. It's a fucking corrupt politician who doesn't give a fuck about you. Period. Whatever side you're on. They don't give a fuck about you. Fucking Joe Biden and Donald Trump don't give a fuck about you, even if you voted for them. They'll do the wave and do this. Thank you. They don't give a fuck about you. Okay. So let's call it what it is. The president of the United States of America, dude, is fucked up. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. He talks slow. I've seen it happen with old people. He talks slow. He's frail. He's forgetful. He fucks words up. Sorry. That's who you voted for. And if you couldn't see that during the election, you were blinded by your hatred for Donald Trump, which is fine too. People are like, hey, I'm not voting for this guy. I'm going to vote for this guy that's 1,000 years old and can't speak, but at least own that shit. So I'm on stage last night and I'm talking and I'm having a good time. See, now I'm fired up. There it goes. There's the episode. I didn't want to do it. And I just went on, and people were like, I could tell. I go, listen, I know we're in New York. I know more than half you people voted for him. Guy's fucked up. Guy's got fucking, guy's got onset dementia. I mean, if you can't tell me that, if you have somebody in your family that's had that, if you have somebody in your family, if you've watched old people kind of talk and stuff like that, I'm not saying he's full blown gone, because I don't think he's full blown gone. Because, I saw a little bit of that State of the Union, whatever. I mean, I know he's reading or whatever, but like, he's still there to do the job. But let's not act like it's not fucked up. And if you go to a comedy show, don't be a hypocrite. If you're going to laugh at me, make fun of Donald Trump, and the joke is funny, and I assure you the joke was funny that I said about Biden. Okay. It wasn't like, oh no, the joke wasn't funny. No, the joke was funny because the people that got it and liked it were fucking crying, laughing. It's a funny joke. I know a funny joke because I've been doing this for a long, long time. And they just are, it's what it is. New York has just gone to a place where if you're just not with the narrative of what somebody wants you to be and you go the other way, they're gonna, even if they try to like it because it's a comedy club, it's just a different thing. So it is what it is. I've accepted it. And, it's a shame to hear comedians go, at least on the road, people are fun. And I will say this, multiple people in New York City are incredible and the most, but I've talked about this before. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but there are people that just get fucking upset. But you know who the coolest people are? The people that you're making fun of. You could make fun of somebody and they're laughing. It's the people that think that they need to protect those people. Yeah, they need to protect those people because who's going to protect? I stand with those. Shut the fuck up. You stand with those people and you go to a fucking 5-star restaurant. And if a homeless person came near you, you'd fucking have them arrested. The fuck out of here. Let's talk about things that are going on in the world that are just bad. And it's probably not a great thing to do on a comedy podcast, but I feel like, dude, I was watching this show on Netflix, this thing that just got released. Because I haven't been to Netflix in weeks because I was watching Yellowstone on Peacock, which, by the way, Peacock is coming, man. Dude, Peacock they keep coming out with shows. They got MacGruber, they got Yellowstone. Now they got, old SNLs. They got new shows being added on. Will Smith got something. Kevin Hart signed an overall deal with them, I think. So Peacock is dope. And anyway, so I'm watching this show though, because I get alerts on my phone and I like watching true crime. I told you guys, like Up and Vanished was a podcast I listened to and all this shit. So I was I was watching my phone and something popped up and said new thing on Netflix. And it was called Worst Roommate Ever. And it's about these crimes and these fucking horrible things that roommates have done. And there's been murders and attacks and all that. And it just made me think to myself, like, it's kind of wild how we do live amongst evil. Right now, I'm not trying to make this a religious podcast or a segment on religion or anything like that. Okay. But if you are talking good and evil in the world, that does exist. It just does. And whatever that means, if that means that there's a balance, if that means whatever, it's kind of weird to say, but that's kind of what Star Wars is about. The overall theme of Star Wars, the whole thing with Star Wars is good and bad, dark side, good side. And when you hear these stories about what people do to people, what we've done to, when you look at what human beings have done to people, and you have family and loved ones that you just fucking have to protect, and you look at this evil, this horrible, horrible evil, people getting, my buddy comedian, shout out to my buddy Vishu Vaka. He's a funny comedian. He's a funny comedian from New Jersey, and or maybe Ohio first, but he lives in Jersey now. And he opened for me in Connecticut. He's going to come out with me, I think, in Rhode Island. Really funny kid. And so check him out, Vishu, Vishu, Vaka, Vaka. See that, Vishu? I'll hook you up with a plug. But he told me something horrible. He said that a man was at a casino and the man won a significant amount of money at the casino. And these evil fucking people saw that and they followed this man home hours and killed him with his family, and that just killed him for that money. And it's like, dude, that lurks out amongst us. And that's fucking scary. And I think that that's why people are so intrigued with true crime, because it's almost like, even though it's a horrible thing, you're watching it to kind of maybe subconsciously, like, how can I be aware of that? How can I, my wife, I don't know if I've said this to you guys on the podcast before, maybe earlier, but like when my wife is in a cab or an Uber, she rips one hair out of her head and leaves it in the back seat in case the guy tries to kill her or something like that. Like she's like, so I think that the people are so enamored with forensic files and Law and Order and all these things, and how do they get solved and who did it and why would somebody do it? Maybe it's because we know it's out there, and we want to be like, all right, dude, I need to make sure that if that person's acting that way, or if this, I mean, it is fascinating that somebody can do that. But the craziest thing is, in this show, Worst Roommate Ever, where they show these horrible situations that happen, like these people are like nice at first. Everybody was saying like, oh my God, nice. We would go out, charming, nice. And then boom, for money or for whatever, like the things that they would do. And then the craziest thing is, somebody that's nice and cool will kill. And then when they get caught or questioned, they're like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like, how do we? And it's like, you did it. That to me, man, is really like, that to me is, listen, I always have, like, I'm not too trusting, I'm a Sicilian kid too. So I'm always kind of like, what's that person? I'm one of those people, I could talk to you for a little bit. I kind of have an idea of what's going on. Some people are better than others, but I kind of know what's going on if I talk to you. But yeah, man, to have somebody be nice and all that, and then that's just a fake thing to go do the evil and kill the person and grab their money, or the whatever it is. Like, if they want to grab, if they want, I need a car, I'm going to kill them I need their money, their insurance, all those things, man. And it's really makes me think like, fuck, so good and evil is a thing. But it's more than just, because a lot of people blow it off as, that person's crazy. Did you see what that person? Well, I don't know, man. Is it bigger than that, or am I fucking nuts? But it just seems that it's like the balance of life, right? You have an amazing time drinking. The next day you pay for it. You have amazing people that want to do good, and then evil over here. All of these different things. You bang a whore, STD. I don't know where that came from, but no. So that, I hope this thing didn't go out. Did I mute it? No. So anyway, that was my thought when I'm watching these things. And, I had a dear friend. And you guys know about it. I've talked about it, but I had a dear friend get killed, and they were nice to the person that did it. And the person was just there, and it's like, is that in people? Is it a mental thing? What is it? Because what about people that aren't clinically, like, what about no mental illness that people kill? Are they just evil? What does that mean? Does that mean that there is some truth to religion or whatever, good, evil? I don't know. Of course, I don't know. We're not, obviously we're not going to answer that on this podcast here, but when you hear about these things that happen, you're just like, that's out there. You're sitting in a movie theater with somebody that might have not even committed it yet. That's what's crazy. You're sitting in a Marvel fucking Captain America. It's crazy, right? Eating popcorn, drinking. That guy is 2 months away from fucking killing 3 roommates. That's what's in that is my point. That I think is crazy. And I love how I'm talking about this, but then I'm saying you got to watch Yellowstone, because they'll just people killing. It's violent. It's amazing. Being a hypocrite. But no, you know what I mean? Like, it's wild that, and that's why, man, I'm trying not to go into any neighborhoods or any places in New York City until I know the streets are cleaned up. You got to get cleaned up the way Mayor Giuliani did it. And I know everyone's saying he's gone crazy now, not Mayor Giuliani now, but that dude, look what Giuliani did, man. That dude went after the mob. He cleaned up the streets, stopped all the violence, like people getting locked up, not coming out. And like New York City got much safer. We need some shit like that. We need some shit like that real bad, because, somebody said something to me. Somebody said, Paul, I heard your, so yeah, this is me going back at a couple of comments. Because like I said, if there's any bad comments, my producer, I won't see it. But if somebody has a question or says something, I will hear about it sometimes, But just so you guys know, if you guys write something that's like visceral or like shitty at me, I'm not gonna. It won't get to me unless I'm told about it. But somebody said to me, well, I'll always be like this. Somebody a dick, I try to see them all, but somebody said to me, Paul, I was told New York City was always this way. New York City was always bad. Like, it's not that. And then 2 days later, the hammer attacker, a guy bashing an old woman's head with a hammer. She had to get some of her skull removed and put like a mesh piece over it to protect her head. Okay. Yeah. I don't really remember that the day after shit getting smushed in someone's face, the day after somebody getting punched or thrown off a fucking, you know, a platform and all those things. So I think that, it is bad now. And I think the fact that some New Yorkers may listen to this podcast and not like it, or some people may like try to deny it, but it's really just not the best place right now. And I know that for a fact because I have friends who were police officers that I'm dear friends with, that are there every day, that are there right now. And they're telling me what's happening. And I have a friend who's a police officer who said it's the wild, wild fucking West. Okay. There are constant shootings over in Harlem. The gun violence is up. People are getting fucking shot all the time. And it's as bad as it's been since they've been in the department. But you guys listening to this podcast who fucking don't like it, you guys know better. Yeah, you fucking dummies who are listening to this going, it's just not true. Yeah, you know better than somebody that is actually fighting crime in the city on a daily basis and seen the numbers go up. So fuck out of here. How about that? How about, no, it is really bad right now and you should be careful. And the fact that I came on the podcast talking about people should be safe or be safer or more cautious on the subway means I'm just looking out, you know. But again, some people voted for Biden. They're not going to like it. Some people don't want to believe New York City's the best. So they're just going to say, like, statistically, Paul, what do you mean? Statistically, what I mean is women in their fucking 70s are getting hit in the head with hammer on subways. And that happened days after I said, be careful with the subways. That's what I'm saying statistically. So eat a dick. How about that? I love that I'm saying that to somebody who's actually listening to my I just told one of my podcast listeners to eat a dick. No, but you know what I mean? Like those people that try to, and I know you guys sometimes just come with questions on YouTube and want to say something or give your input, which I'm totally cool with. And that's why I'm addressing this. Because it's not like I'm ignoring somebody saying something, but don't ignore like what's going on. For anybody right now to say New York is safe or New York is as safe as it's ever been, it's just simply not true. It's just simply not true. You know, there's shit going on, but look, man, it's not the Ukraine, because I feel for those people, man. I got to be honest, man. The president of Ukraine, that kid's a G. I mean, that kid is, he's like, we are going to take this fight to them. We're going to keep fighting. We'll fight in the streets. We'll fight in the forest. We'll fight here. We'll fight there. It doesn't matter. We're not backing down. And, you know, they asked one thing I give credit for Biden said, which was kind of funny, is they were like, Joe, what do you have to say about the American people outraged about the, you know, what's going to happen with gas prices? He just goes, it's going to go up. He goes, yeah, it's going to go up. And then he just pointed, he goes, you could thank Russia for that. And it was just kind of funny that he didn't try to do the politician thing. He's so fucking tired. He's just like, yeah, I mean, I got to go to, I had a nap in 2 hours. I don't know, you know, I got a nap in 2 hours. They're going to fucking jack me up for some steroids so I could go to the fucking bathroom. But it's, yeah, man, when you think about that. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about is the UFC fights. The UFC fights, I got to they put it on in my green room in Austin at the Vulcan. So I'm wondering where I could see it, how I could go see it. I could perform there and just walk upstairs in my green room with food or drinks or whatever and watch it there. And when I got off stage, it was the first round of the main event. Colby Covington beating Jorge Masvidal. And I thought that would happen because I just think I saw him against Usman. And if you guys don't know, the guy that fought last week, he fought against the champ and won. And then he was fighting against somebody that he used to be best friends with. And it was a rivalry. And a lot of people wanted him to lose because he's a shit talker, but he's the better fighter. And that's why he fought the champ and got close. But I completely concede and throw in the towel saying that boxing is better than UFC. When's the next boxing match? Can somebody answer this question? Are we just waiting for Tyson Fury to fight every year and have that be boxing? Or a couple of these other like lightweight or featherweight guys that are undefeated come up and they fight every whatever once a year? How I like boxing. I just don't understand if boxing is ever going to try to compete with this, or if it's just known that as far as combat sports and the fight game, it's got to be UFC first and then boxing. And I can't believe I'm saying that. I would have never said that. And if you would have put a gun to my head in the 90s, they would have pulled the trigger, because I would have said, no way UFC is going to beat this. But there is no boxing ever. And when there is, it's some fucking huge heavyweight like Tyson Fury, who now might fight a UFC fighter. And it's once every year, once every 18 months. It comes and goes. It's always whatever. And then UFC is all night from 10 o'clock till 1 o'clock in the morning, just fight after fight after fight of guys that can compete for a title soon, that are competing for a title. It's just better. And I was wrong. I said on the Brendan Schaub episode, I said it was gross. Just guys with their bare feet straddling each other's faces, putting their dicks in their faces, hugging them and all that. And I couldn't be wrong or sound more of like a moron. It is incredible. The fact that, if a guy can wrestle, you got to watch out for that too. And the striking and all that. So anybody that doesn't watch UFC or is like, Paul, I'm like you, I thought boxing, I'm a boxing guy first. Give the UFC a couple of weekends. Let it sink in. Enjoy what you're watching. Watch the post interviews and get to know these guys. And it's amazing. You know what it's like? UFC is like when we were kids, the WWF, except real beatings and the real shit talking for the most part. And then watching those guys beat the shit out of each other with real fighting. That's what's so amazing. Like, you'll watch a guy go and be like, I'm going to put this kid to sleep. I'm going to beat the shit out of him. You're not going to recognize his face when I'm done. And then it goes in, I'm going to put him to sleep. I'm going to knock him out in front of his family. And then it happens. And you're like, oh shit. So, I watch all the countdowns. I watch all of it. The embedded, they do like these 15-minute episodes leading up, like in real time up to the fight. I watch it all. So shame on me. The UFC is the combat king. Please prove me wrong. I want to love boxing again. I want to watch boxing again, but I cannot remember the last time I remember boxing being good was Roy Jones Jr. Okay. And the end of Roy Jones Jr., which was sad, like Antonio Tarver. And then boxing just started to just go. There was just, then you had Mayweather, and Mayweather was just winning, a defensive fighter, unbelievable. And then once that went down, once the end of Mayweather, think about it. What happened at the end of Mayweather? Mayweather fought Conor McGregor, who's UFC. Now you have Tyson Fury, the heavyweight champion of the world, may fight the heavyweight champion of the UFC, Francis Ngannou. So you're starting to see a merge, because boxing is hurting. And that's the only reason, because if both were doing phenomenal or boxing was competing, they would stay, but it's not. It's going to be a merger. And I think that's what we were seeing. I was wrong. I'm going to go into a little overtime here. I was wrong. This is the episode where I'm just conceding. I was wrong about Russell Wilson. Thought Russell Wilson was going to come to the Giants. I'm hearing that it was not Russell Wilson who didn't want to come to the Giants, that it was the New York Giants. It was too much to give. He ended up going to the Denver Broncos. I heard in December and January from really reliable sources that he was willing to trade to waive his no trade clause to be a Giant. But apparently what Seattle would have wanted was going to be too much. He's 34 years old, going to be 34 years old. They were looking at it like, let's kind of either see what we have with this young guy or get another young guy to build the future. I kind of get it. Because if Russell gets there and gets hurt and then you gave everything away, now you're really in a bad position. So I see it would have been cool to have him a Giant, but then you're looking at a couple years to get one. And then if you don't, you're back to square one. So, there you go. We're going to see what happened. I'm not going to get sucked back into the Knicks. All right, because they won 2 in a row. They're going for 3 in a row tonight. You know I'm going to get sucked back in. If they win like 4 or 5 in a row, I'm like, this is it. This is the run to they're getting back. And then I'm just going to get heartbroken again. But Julius Randle bounced back 46 points. I'm delusional. I know it. Where am I going to be performing? Where am I going to be performing? I will tell you where I'll be performing. I am going to Arizona this Saturday and Sunday. That's right. I am going to be at CB Live in Phoenix, Arizona. CB Live, Phoenix, Arizona. 2 shows Saturday, 1 show Sunday. That is, I believe, the 12th and 13th of March. So whenever you're listening to this, which will be today, a couple hours, this evening to this morning, whatever, Wednesday, Thursday, when it comes out, I will be there this Saturday. CB Live. We got added on late, so a lot of people aren't going to find out. Like, I didn't know you were in town. I know that's going to happen. But if you're listening to this, if you're in Arizona, if you know somebody in Arizona, please send it out. Go out Saturday and Sunday. I'm bringing the new hour. I'm also bringing a new hour. So I'm going to be doing some of the special that's about to get released, and I'll be working on jokes for the next special. So I'm in a kind of in a fun time here in comedy. So I hope to see you guys there. And March 31st, I will be going to, where am I going March 31st? Providence, Rhode Island till April 2nd. Then here's a cool announcement, guys. Cool announcement. I will be going to the Masters this year. We were supposed to go, all of us friends, me, Bill Burr, Joe Bartnick, a bunch of us were going to go. Got canceled because of COVID. Now it's back on. What does that mean? That means that the band is getting back together, and we will be working with Burr. We're going to be all on Burr's show in Birmingham, Alabama, and on Burr's show in Macon, Georgia, I believe, before we go out to Augusta to see the Masters. So if you're going to those shows, you should be seeing me. And it should be a lot of fun. And then I have all sorts of dates coming up, Buffalo and Tampa and San Diego and all that stuff, or Tampa, Buffalo, San Diego, and more dates coming too. So I hope you guys, yeah, man, I hope you guys come out. It's been amazing to have you guys come out. And I know I haven't had my special get released yet, and you guys are still coming out. So it means the world. Thank you guys, man. You know what's really cool is when somebody said something to me, they were like, you know, I'm doing this. I'm trying to just do this my way. You know, does that make sense? Let's get real here for a second. Let's talk. I'm trying to do, you guys know, like, I'm not doing any fake shit. You know, you guys either like me, you don't like me. That's it. And I'm not going to do some wild shit to get followers because A, that's not sustainable. And B, that's just not what I'm going to do. I'm never going to knock anybody, but I'm not doing that. So I'm just going to talk and be real and be me, be Paul, say what I want to say, do what I want to do, how I want to do it, how I want to go about it. And that means that you guys that like that are real fans and fans for life. And that's how I look at it. So, and when we get to where we're going, you guys are going to fucking be there, man. And, you know, things are going to really, really be amazing. And I want it to be with the best fans, which are you guys and my podcast fans. So, and you guys are coming out to see me in New York when I do spots in the city. You guys are, you know, coming up to me saying really nice things and appreciating it. So that means, you know, that means a lot to me. And by the way, shout out to the chef at Parkside. I'm eating at this place, Parkside, in Austin before my show, because that fucking asshole wouldn't let me have a Cliff Bar and a fucking piece of beef jerky. And I'm in this place called Parkside, and I ate this thing. It was like a beef. It was like a steak tartare on like this, like big flat, like tortilla chip, like a crunchy tortilla, like a hard tortilla chip with all of this like steak tartare on top of it and all this like seasoning and everything. And dude, this thing was so good. So good. and the chef came out. So shout out to you, man, the chef at Parkside. So if you're in Austin, go check out Parkside. Check out their steak tartare. They had I had a great salad in there. I had like all the stuff is good. They got oysters in there, but he just came up and he was like, hey man, you know, big fan and all this stuff. How'd you like the food? And I said, dude, this food is the shit. So check that out. I highly recommend going to Parkside in Austin and getting that steak tartare. I'm telling you, it's not that it wasn't crazy expensive, and it was crazy good. And I think the meat was kind of rare. So if you like it rare and you like that's why I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. But it was awesome. It was really, really cool. So, you know, thank you guys. Thank you for that, sir. And yeah, man, you guys are the best. I'm looking forward to it. One thing I did, which I'm not too happy with, is I started smoking cigar. I've smoked like 5 cigars in the last maybe 5-6 months, but the last couple places I've had one, and now I'm trying to go back. I'm trying to pull back because my throat's good, but when I smoke a lot, it affects me, especially after shows, and then the next night I have a show, my throat is all screwed up. So, and finally, I just want to thank the people at last night. We did an event last night, a whiskey event. And it was unbelievable. It was called, what was it called? Cast and Casket. I don't know. It was basically the distributors who distribute the liquor and the whiskey to the stand. Shout out to Tommy. They basically had a whiskey kind of tasting, but it was about perseverance, this thing. And it was me, Giannis on the panel, Tommy, who works for the company and distributes the liquor, and then all liquor salesmen and whiskey salesmen in the crowd. And we did a live stream podcast, and then me and Giannis privately performed for these people, and it ended up being incredible. And they gave us gifts, and we're drinking whiskey, and we're just having the best time. And, you know, what's better than doing a podcast with one of your best friends, drinking whiskey and talking about how you were able to overcome the pandemic? That's what we did. We were literally, I'm sitting there and they're bringing out rice balls and meatballs to these fucking liquor salesmen. And I'm going, these guys don't want to hear what the fuck we have to say. They're eating Parmesan in a comedy club and we're drinking whiskey. And it was so amazing. And it was just about like the perseverance. So I just definitely wanted to say, man, if you ever see those events at the stand or anything like that, definitely go and check it out. And there's a whiskey that I want to recommend to you guys. It's an 18-year-old single malt. I'm going to tell you right now, single malt. I probably should have had this prepared. Single malt whiskey. And it is Glen Roth. Yes. This is the one right here, but no, the 18. Okay, hold on, the 18. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to get it to you. Hold on, I'm going to get it to you. No, not now, hold on. This is the one. Yes, I'm 21 or older. Can you guys see that? Hold on. That's the bottle right there. It's called the Glen Roth's 18. That's who did the event last night. And we were just talking. They gave us a bottle of that 18. They gave us all these cool gifts, cigar cutters, I mean, it was just amazing. Made us taste it. We talked comedy. We talked how we were able to get through the pandemic as comics. They had all their representatives there. They were in the room for the first time since the pandemic. And it couldn't have been cooler. And I normally don't talk about events like that I do, because we do them and we have a good time. But I got to tell you something, man. That was awesome. That whiskey is incredibly smooth. With a certain cigar, it will knock your dick off or socks off, whichever you prefer. But definitely check that out. And I wanted to thank those guys and obviously support the stand and everybody in the New York comedy scene. All the clubs in New York, you know, the New York Comedy Club, the Cellar, fucking, Gotham, everywhere, man. Just the New York comedy scene is coming back. We just need these sensitive assholes to get out of the room is what we need to do. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Talking a little shit. I'm gonna have a guest next time. This has been Virzi Effect 529. Please write me anything that you want me to discuss. If there's any questions you have, cool, send it in. Like I said, rate and review the show. And there you go. I will talk to you guys next week. This has been a fun one. And yeah. Oh, and here's the other thing, though, too. This is the last thing I want to bring back. I just want to bring something back. You know how the guy, I know you guys are going to think I'm nuts. I know you're going to think I'm nuts. You know how the guy at the place goes, sir, you wouldn't take that from a store. You got to treat it like a store. No. It's not a store. It's not a store. It's 2 feet next to the fucking register, and it's little snacks that the hotel are providing, not a store. There wasn't a name of the store. There wasn't a cashier at a store giving separate things. There wasn't a cashier at a store where you could give a credit card or cash. No, that's stealing. So it's not. It was some shit that you guys had snacks for your clients and thinking I'm stealing. That's not a store. Okay? So fuck you. And I don't need to stay at that shitty ass fucking bathtub stained bullshit hotel in downtown Austin anyway. Okay. So when people, it's like a store, you wouldn't take from a store. No, I wouldn't take from a store. And it's not a fucking store. I was taking from the hotel cabinet is what I was doing. And I was going to call it down because you assholes were going to make somebody that just got off an airplane sit on a long fucking line to get beef jerky, a Cliff Bar, and a fucking Aquafina. Okay. That was the part that I forgot to mention before. I'm Paul Virzi. I will see you guys next week.